Hey, what's up everybody, and happy Thursday. And in 2 hours time, if you'd like to see me wearing a monkey onesie, come by the Twitch channel. But before I explain to you why, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you'd like to support me further, easiest way to do so is links to all my socials can be found in the description down below. Make sure you guys go give those a like and follow, as well, as I'd greatly appreciate it. So in the latest post called Gearing Up for the Grid, Psyonix talks about what the grid is and how it's breaking down and what exactly this is going to mean for Rocket League moving forward. So even though we kind of last weekend got over the first initial hump of the RLCS X season with Europe and stage 1 for the first regional, we're now going into the second week, which is going to be kicked off with the grid. So if you guys are unfamiliar, I'll leave a link up top somewhere here where you guys can kind of watch that video. But the grid is a 16-team tournament that'll be going down on both Thursday and on Friday. And the dates kind of alternate in a 1-2-1 format where it'll be EU on Thursday, and then EU on Friday, and then EU on Friday, and then EU on Thursday, and then EU on Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Thursday. And it'll keep going back and forth until they get through all 9 weeks for the fall split. Those dates will be at the bottom of this post, and I'll make sure to link this blog post in there as well. But what's unique about this is it is taking all the teams from the RLCS, so the 10 RLCS teams that are or would have been qualified for RLCS 10 if we didn't change the format, and keeping the 6 teams that would keep their spots after qualifications for the rival series as well. So that's how you get to the 16 teams. Because Europe ended up having one of the teams disband and fall apart, what ended up happening is they used the stage 1 results from the qualifier to determine who that's going to be. In this case, it is the new iteration of Singularity with Godsmilla and the rest of that squad. So for everybody watching, this one's a little bit hectic. Even though I'm recording this on Wednesday night, technically this video will come out on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Central my time and at noon my time. So 12 p.m. Central or 1 p.m. Eastern, the grid for Europe will begin. And what that means is out of all of these matches, I think the only team that isn't broadcasting their matches is actually, I think it's Barcelona. I'm pretty sure only FC Barcelona isn't doing it, and I'll tell you why the monkeys are now, which explains my intro. So what is going to be happening is every single one of these teams in this post, so Chalked, Dignitas, Endpoint, Guild, Libertas, Oxygen, Renault Vitality, Solary, Team BDS, Team Liquid, Team Singularity, Top Blokes, Triple Trouble, and Vodafone Giants, on their own individual Twitch panels, whether they have hired somebody else or otherwise, at the exact same time, will be broadcasting the perspective of their team. Speaking from what I will be doing is if you come over to my channel, so at 1 p.m. Eastern today, so in 3 hours after this video post, you can go to twitch.tv/Lawler, and I will be covering and watching and giving you guys kind of the viewing party experience for the monkeys, which is Matane, Taz, and Ixo. Along with that, I will be wearing... All right, let's hold on. Let's do this right. I will be wearing a monkey onesie. So if that's not enough for you guys to come watch, I don't know what is. Alongside me wearing a monkey onesie and broadcasting and showing the perspective of that team, there will be a bunch of other broadcasts all doing the same thing for their teams with various production levels, unique perspectives based upon how these organizations want to basically, I guess, showcase their rosters. Whether they want to focus on the players' personalities, if they're going to do it just as like a watch party. I think for G2, Athena's just kind of doing a watch party and hanging out and crap talking G2, or like... There's a lot of different ways that these teams can kind of approach this. And I think that's the exciting thing, is this is a really fun way for a lot of teams to basically just kind of pick and choose. And I'm going to zoom this in so you guys can see this. This is a fun way for all these teams. The only one that's missing on this is Monkeys and Barcelona. Barcelona, I don't think has any plans yet, but it's a really cool way for all these teams to really take ownership and try to get something back. So a lot of times we've talked about how in Rocket League, Psyonix doesn't really provide the best return on investment based upon the esports shop and everything else. And this is kind of a fun way for them to give ownership to these teams to allow them some creative freedom to showcase their merch or promote certain things with a pre-show or showcase their, content creators or do something in a unique way to make their audience more engaged. And primarily the thing that I think is missing most from anything in the Rocket League scene is player-driven content. I'm talking like interviews, Q&As. If you guys remember when Pittsburgh Knights first came into the scene and they're having like Reddles and the guys reach into a box to like touch something without being able to see it, or sending them to like haunted houses, or Allegiance when they had the guys go and like shoot and play like soccer and stuff on a field, and just any kind of pre-produced content or post-produced content that we haven't seen that allows them to really showcase the personality of these players. Because usually you see like on RLCS, they do an interview and the interview is like, well, hey man, how did that match go? How do you feel about the next match? And like the questions have to stick to kind of a really generic guideline because there's just not enough time to really fledge it out. And this is an opportunity to really take advantage of it. And the exciting thing about it is because it is a double elimination tournament, and I'll show you the brackets right after this, but the team's path only goes as far as they win. So if a team gets eliminated right away, the broadcast is over. They're done. And the organization is now required to figure out how they want to further that content in some capacity. And that's where I think the creative and the interesting things are going to happen is, yes, there is a chance that our team gets knocked out early. We don't want that to happen, but what if it does? What can we do to fill a certain time requirement to make sure that this show that we're trying to provide is something that allows us to be digestible and enjoyable and makes people want to actually support us? I think that's where you're going to get some really cool content based upon what may be different rather than just the standard, these are the team comms, you can watch them on YouTube afterwards. Like, what other fun things can you do despite us not being able to be there in person? So I'm really excited for this. I think it's a really cool thing now that it's kind of come to fruition. I do feel that there's still some rough starts and the first couple of weeks are going to be kind of awkward, but as they kind of figure out what direction they want to go, I think that's going to be really cool. So on Thursdays or for Europe, I will be doing coverage for the Monkeys in a monkey onesie just for fun and giggles. It's not going to be crazy production. It's all on my end and just doing it so that at least the guys are showcased. And I'll try to be super biased, which is also another really cool perspective. This is the first time that we're going to see commentators purposely biased towards teams. Like, you are representing an organization. Your job is to be actively, as a caster, rooting for this team. So how teams are going to take that approach, I think, will be really fun, and it should be an exciting. I can tell you some of the teams that I know my team's already playing against. I'm going and talking to the other casters and talking trash, and just like, we're having fun with it, which I think is awesome, and it's only going to make these fandoms really grow. On the North American side, if we scroll down and kind of show you the participating teams, there is not one team that is missing any sort of broadcast. All 16 teams are being covered. Alpine Esports, which just got picked up, that used to be Affinity, Charlotte Phoenix, as you guys know, E United, G2 Esports, Kansas City Pioneers, which used to be Flight, Energy, Omelette, Pittsburgh Knights, Plot Twist, Rogue, Space Station Gaming, Sonics, Envy, the Peeps, Version 1, and XSET. XSET used to be known as Stromboli. So there's a couple things to break down with this. Number one, I will be covering Version 1 with Supersonic, Rival Series caster, and a good buddy of mine, Jason. This post actually leaked some information that I don't know if people recognize. The first one being that there is no Rad Enterprises. The fact that there is no more Rad Enterprise put out a post along with this, which I should be showing some of that content now. But Version 1 is actually picking up Rad Enterprises. If you guys don't know who Version 1 is, it is a brand new organization. Most people will recognize them as WISE Esports, or if you guys don't know the WISE family, it is the owners of the NFL team, the Minnesota Vikings, which is a little bit against what I stand for as a Green Bay Packers fan, but you look past it because they're good people, and you make sure to throw jabs at them never having a ring along the way. So hopefully I don't get too mad at that. But Version 1 has been an absolute fantastic thing to work with, and all the people have been absolutely splendid and super nice towards me as well as Jason. And I'm really happy that they're bringing in a different perspective because they have the expertise as an NFL organization and a different way of thinking about how to go about promoting a team and branding a team and how to produce content, all this kind of stuff. Their experience with esports comes from the Minnesota Rokkr, or the CDL team. So I'm really excited to have them just in general be in the scene, not only because they're supporting guys that I consider friends, the fact that these guys have found a new home, a very good home with like stellar financial standing, and ones that'll take care of these guys. They're also going to provide a way to bring in some new content. They've already been putting a ton of it out within the 24 hours, but they also have fun with it. They did a countdown to announce the team where they rick-rolled everybody after the countdown went down, then said just kidding, and then one of the people had to do like an acapella, like exciting like credits kind of coming at you like Star Wars style. And then they announced their website. Their website looks sick. Merch is super clean. And a lot of cool stuff. And I'm not saying that because they're hiring me to cast, but I'm just saying that in general. Like, it looks sick, and it seems like they're going to do a great job. So I'm really happy to have them in the scene. But because that is off the plate, there's two other things that are really important in this. Number one, Pittsburgh Knights and the Peeps with Moopy. If you guys don't know, Moopy was let go from Pittsburgh Knights as their coach, but he did stick with Gyro as well as AyyJayy. They had signed up as the Peeps with Allushin as their third, and that looks like it's going to remain the same. But because Pittsburgh Knights is still in here, and you have to be either an RLCS team or an RLRS team, there's only one RLRS team that hasn't been picked up that's at the top, which is Valence. So this indirectly leaks that Valence is who Pittsburgh Knights have picked up. That is official. That has happened. A lot of bit of information in this post, but it all goes down today. So today, again, at 1 p.m. Eastern will be when the matches start for Europe. And then Friday will end up being for North America. So with that said, let's take a look at the actual brackets. So for Europe, the way that this is going to work is this will all go down in one day. The way that I think teams should handle it, which I think is a really cool idea, is if teams lose, they end up hosting or rating the team that wins. For example, say I'm with the Monkeys and I'm doing their cast and they lose to Dignitas. I end up planning on taking my stream and then rating Dignitas, and say like Dignitas loses to Oxygen, they then rate Oxygen, and like all those streams and that viewership continues a natural progression of storyline, and everybody just kind of falls in line like, okay, you're the better team, let's support you, and it just keeps building and building and building. I think that's a really cool concept. But this is very similar to how I did the Brawl, but they're all doing it in one day, where you have your teams in groups. After the end of groups, you have two that can make it out from each part of the groups. There is an upper and a lower, so it's a double elimination. So out of 8 teams, we're going to get 4, which is 8 total. And then they'll do a single elimination playoff where semifinals and finals are best of 7s. Everything else is best of 5s. There's a lot of games going down. Either way, with groups and everything, I do expect Vitality to come out in the lead. I think Chalked is getting a very, very rough end of the deal. With going up against what is easily, in my opinion, the best team in Europe right now. So should be exciting. And with talking about best teams, I will be doing power rankings later on in the week. I've got some other things I need to tease to you guys that I can't say just yet, but there will be a talk show possibly coming back next week. We'll see what that's about. You guys can assume what that is, but in that there will be some power rankings on a regular. So we will be doing our own power rankings for this channel as well. You can expect those midweek for both NA and EU. We're going to keep track based upon results and talk about where teams I think stand moving up and down, so you can kind of know who's the best of the best despite all this chaos of Rocket League every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the next year. So should be cool. Some plans for the channel for YouTube content. Jumping over to North America, then we've got Group A and Group B. Some big things to note. Looks like G2 is back in the team house. Hopefully they get some ball rolling. Rogue, my opinion, probably the second best team right now in North America. They've been playing absolutely stellar. I think Envy is close behind them. Version 1 has now solidified that it is AXB. They've played one tournament together. Will that continue? We don't know. That's a big match between them and XSET. I am really excited to be casting this one on Friday with Jason. That's going to be a really good time. On the other side, I think Energy's got a free win over Sonics. So this will be United versus the Peeps. This will be the Peeps, and then Space Station is going up against Pittsburgh Knights, which is now Valence. So this will change. So keep that in mind. And then Omelette and Alpine, I think this is a really good start for both Alpine and Omelette to prove who is the better team promoting through. Alpine obviously had a shaky result, but in ESPN Invitational, they did upset, while Omelette they had their run recently in other events and looked great. So the addition of Lion Blaze, I'm a big fan of. But this is going to be the new norm for Rocket League Esports. Thursday and Friday is going to be the grid, where you see these teams compete in a 16-team tournament that goes on and completes at the end of the day. So a ton of Rocket League to watch. And then on Saturday and Sunday is going to be some sort of regional event, whether it be Europe, Stage 2 and playoffs, or, you know, the beginning of North America, which will start in 2 weeks. Like, There's so many things that are happening, and I don't think people actually grasp it. I saw someone in the comments actually did the math on like all the matches, and it's crazy how many best of fives there actually are. So ton of Rocket League, and I'm going to do my best to make sure I cover that. So before we close out, as a reminder, the way that this YouTube channel is probably going to function, I will try to do news updates and new information as soon as I can, just as I always do. Kind of like all these new roster announcements that just happened. I'll try to do my best to kind of keep you guys up to date on those. On the weekends are going to be, hey, these are my predictions for the grid or the regional events or whatever is happening. And then on Monday, Tuesday kind of time will be recaps of how everything played out during the weekend, like all the results, just so you guys don't have to watch like 6 different videos of all these different matches. And then on like Tuesday-ish to like Thursday-ish, depending on what I have going on, will be like unique interviews or power rankings or something to kind of keep you guys up to date, where if you weren't able to kind of digest all that other content, you can tune in and be like, okay, this is the best team. This is why these guys moved up in the rankings, because they beat this other powerhouse team that was really good. Or, you know what, Lawler keeps them about the same because, you know, this team, yes, they won against another team, but it wasn't as valued as another roster like Energy or something. You know, I'll try to figure it out, and it'll be a learning process. But if you guys think there's other content that you'd like to see on the channel that kind of fits the bill of the Rocket League news and esports kind of style, let me know in the comments below. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, drop those down below as well, and I'll do my best to get back to you. But that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Ton that we're covering, and I greatly appreciate it. But hopefully we see you guys on my Twitch channel today, where you'll see me wearing a monkey onesie. It'll be interesting how it goes. But I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.